a representative from Dockside, who is, John, and he sees no problem with it, and I believe that the yacht club sees no problem with getting a crosswalk put over there as well. I did take Lindy's off the list because there is a stop sign there, and a person can cross at the stop sign.
Yeah, and that's right, the one at, the yacht club is seasonal, so I guess the crosswalk would make sense there. Okay, well, I did also wanna have Greg, when we meet, to do that, and, sometime next week, let's schedule that, so.
Okay.
Next one, though?
Put on next
And
one.
next one, yeah. The speed bumps and the other signage will be going up as scheduled, and I believe it's the beginning of May. So that'll be up as well.
Okay. Before we go on to your number 3, 4, and 5, John wanted to speak to issue number 1, and he didn't speak on that before, so come on up.
He's not the property owner.
Yeah, where is John?
She's right here, I'm speaking for her, I have her letter here, I'm gonna
He's
read.
speaking?
So, I'd like to clarify some things regarding this, property and the stuff on the property. I worked with Darren Schwenke at the county for the whole time that I worked with the chief. And Darren would give me something he wanted done, we would complete it, and we'd move on. Now, to date, I haven't gotten one citation from Darren. I have one plate and, title that I'm waiting for to come back from the state of Wisconsin, and then Darren will be complete. I have 3 tickets that were written by the chief, right here. And then I have 1 ticket right here that the chief worked with my neighbors to get me. Now, I'm ordered to get rid of some stuff on the property that doesn't belong there, and I'm fine doing it. I'm loading this stuff up on my truck to remove it, to get rid of it, because I was ordered to by the chief. Now, what does the chief do? He's working with my neighbor to the south, coordinating a sting on me, so when I pull my truck off the property, I get stopped. My neighbor called the Town of East Troy Police Department and sent the SWAT cars out looking for me when I left the property. Well, they didn't find me. My neighbor to the south called the state patrol. And the state patrol was sitting on a town road, a couple blocks west of Stringer's Bridge Road and St. Peter's Road, sitting there waiting for me to come to go get the stuff off the property. Now remember, the chief is ordering me to remove the stuff, and in the same breath, the chief is in cahoots with my neighbor, coordinating a sting so that I get pulled over and I get a citation from state patrol. So, which way do you want it? Do you want me to clean it up, or do you want me not to clean it up? I mean, you gotta be realistic about this. This isn't, our conversation between the chief, myself, and Carla is arbitrary and capricious at best. And I'm gonna read this letter here real quick, then I'm gonna,
In your opinion.
in my opinion. In my opinion. All right, I'm gonna read a letter here that was dated 4/2/21. The letter was wrote on 4/6, and this is in response to the chief's letter that he sent us. I received your letter yesterday, 4/5/21, dated 4/2/21. I reached out to Attorney Mills to set up an appointment which is on 4/15/21 at 2 p.m. to get clarification on what is allowed through your interpretations of the town ordinances. I have found a huge disconnect between the county's ordinances and the town ordinances, which make it very confusing. The county states that everything left on a property is allowed, however you state differently. There was no prior notice sent regarding your letter dated 4/2/21, thus making an unrealistic timeline of 4 days to complete the items listed in your letter are not humanly possible. Since your deadline is 4/10/21, I am requesting a 30-day extension to allow me to meet with the town attorney and to complete the request in your letter. I have been working with Darren Schwenke from the county for about a year and have not received any citations. We have always complied with what was asked. In the days leading up to the election that John was running for a town board supervisor seat, your handling of the whole situation changed. It became contentious. The communications between myself and you have been arbitrary or capricious at best. On 2/23/21, in front of Rick Stacy, Darren Schwenke, and Attorney Mills, that the next 30-day inspection, we would have to remove the debris collected in the red trailer by the barn Also remove the tires and poles near the road for, address the storage containers. Yeah, I skipped away. I've been working with Darren Schwenken from the county for about a year, and I have not received any citations. We have always complied with what was asked. In the days leading up to the election, that John was running for a town board supervisor seat, your handling of the whole situation changed. It became contentions, the communications between myself and you have been arbitrary or capricious at best. On 2/23/21, in front of Rick Stacy, Darren Schwenken, and Attorney Mills, that the next 30-day inspection, we would have to remove the debris collected in the red trailer by the barn, also remove the tires and poles near the road. For the county, we were waiting for a title and license plate for one last vehicle. We were also told to call Vince Budiak to address the storage containers. I wrote down everything that needed to be done. This is Carla. I looked you right at you and said, what then? Can I get clarification on what items are legal with the township because it's very confusing? And you told me that you will discuss the matter with Attorney Mills and get back to me. You never got back to me, so I called the town, but you were off that day. I contacted Rick Stacy and he informed me you called 5 days after the inspection and you told Rick you would contact me back with the information you would get from Attorney Mills. 25 days elapsed and John and I were not contacted by you. You never contacted me or John. All you did was come inspect again on 3/23/21. 6 days after your inspection, I received another $400 citation in the mail. That's ticket number 3 I received from you. At the end of the inspection, John looked at Darren Schwenke and asked if he was satisfied, and he said yes, but we still need the title and license plate for the last vehicle. John also asked you too if you were satisfied, and you stated you were fine. We had told you that the remaining cement pours, which are going to someone, that those would be off the property on 4/2/21. We were doing just that. John was incorrect on the use of collector plates and is not allowed to haul over 500 pounds. On the day I saw you driving back and forth in front of my house and talking to my neighbor Tim, because you knew the weight limit limitation you had, Tim called the Town of East Troy Police Department to be on the lookout for John's truck leaving the yard, so John could be issued a ticket. Then Tim called the Wisconsin State Patrol and had them waiting for John's truck a few blocks from my house. We were pulled over and issued a citation. I don't understand you, Chief. You write a ticket in order for us to clean up the yard, and at the same time, you're instructing my neighbor Tim to hamper me from cleaning the yard up. I am respectfully requesting a 30-day extension to allow me to discuss this with Attorney Mills and to complete the cleanup of my yard. Thank you. So basically, we're trying to do what you're requesting, but you're hampering us to do it, and your communications is poor at best. Now, I've worked the whole time with Darren. Darren is very good to communicate with. He's forthright, he gives you what he wants done, and you comply, and there's no citations. With the chief, it's not the same. He says he'll get back to you, and he won't get back to you.
This has been around a year, so it's not.
Can I say something, please, about a year? I don't think you realize that, as you can see with the pictures that the neighbor brought up, and I had a neighbor with the drones over the house and all this kind of stuff. So I'm sure you can see, this wasn't an easy task, okay? And as far as figuring some days, we have rain, it started about this time last year. We have rain that hinders us. We had, about 3 to 4 months of snow. So when you boil that all down, we have never stopped doing what we should be doing. It was either weather related, and again, this winter we had to stop because there was so much snow. And then here comes spring, and then then all of a sudden it's like, why don't you have this done, why don't you have that? I can't tell you how much better that yard is right now. And the items that are left there, because I begged for a list at the very end there, because we're coming this close to getting finished. There's about 8 things on the list that the chief put together in the middle. I don't know if they're gonna change, if it's the goalpost is gonna keep moving, but there's 8 more things. About 4 of those make no sense. A brush pile. We got rid of the brush pile, the beginning of before the winter time. There's a small brush pile back there. But I get a ticket after the fact, after the winter, when that brush pile is already burnt down. There's 2 piles back there, from it. I'm sorry, but it's my property also, and if I wanna keep a pile that is ash and all that, and, I put potatoes in it and all that kind of stuff. That's my right to do that, not to be overly it's just overkill now. The certain things that are left on the property are okay with the, county. And so that's where the clarification has to come in. The town has ordinances, I get a list of ordinances, and they don't, the list that's this generic, we have already gone. There's these bigger items left on there that supposedly are allowed there. So that's where the confusion is. We were this close with the last inspection, and that's why I specifically wanted a list, so we could finish it. And then all of a sudden it gets nasty again, where the neighbors are, Tim's jumping out of bushes, calling the police. You want the yard done, we're doing it. We have never not complained. I have never said that it wasn't wrong what happened in the back there. Never said that.
And the fact that Rick Stacy called him 5 days after our inspection and asked him to call us, and then he told Rick Stacy that he would be getting back to us, because that's what Rick relayed to us, the county guy. And the chief never provided any information on what he wanted. All he did was let 30 days lapse, come back and write another $400 ticket. That's not policing, that's harassment.
It was almost like, okay, we're this far, but now,
The goalpost keeps changing.
And it was like, we're this far, we're this close, but I'm gonna really jam it to you. We're gonna start finding you every day, every day, every day, every day. And we're this close, this close.
Okay, I gotta say a couple comments, and then if Jim wants to, and I'm sure Chief does, but first of all, there is no confusion here between county and town. County is out there, they're enforcing, they're looking at, seeing if you got a contractor's yard out there, that's why they're.
No, we don't.
Right, and we don't.
Right. And the town has a junk ordinance, and there's no confusion.
But junk in one guy's eye and another's arbitrary.
Well, no, but.
He said my chippers, he put in the letter that he sent to us, he said my chippers were used for my business. I never said that to him.
Right, but let me finish. You're saying that the goalpost is changing. When I look at the letter from April of 2020 and the April of 2021, it's the same paragraph. Junk cars, wood, bricks, concrete block, junk or discarded property, chain link fencing, boats, and other junk or discarded property and unsightly debris has been left upon the land owned occupied shortly. So I mean, it's the same thing.
That's what I'm saying, and
But-
that stuff is gone. All that
Well,
junk
if
that
it
was
is,
there.
But that stuff is arbitrary. You can't have a boat in your property, you can't have a burn pile in your property. I mean, come on.
The cement blocks we're getting rid of, there's 8 more things technically we have to get rid of. Four, I'm checking with the reasoning behind them. But then there's there's little things remaining, like some fencing and all that. And we always had a plan with the, storage units that were kind of, helping us enclose things.
Well, we can't get the telephone
We have to move
poles.
those twice, okay, because everybody's changing their minds. The county says, well, it was supposed to be here, now it's supposed to be there, then the chief comes out and it's like a merry-go-round. And so we kept doing what we needed to do. We're this close, and it's 300 some days, I'm sorry, but when you melt it all down with weather and everything, and plus, we have to also make a living in between all this. And I know, okay, we'll get somebody out there, but you just can't get somebody simply out there and weed through. You might think some of this equipment's junk, but it's not. It's thousands of dollars of things that, have to be taken care
And
of.
the stuff is
So-
used to take care of our properties. Between Carla and I, we own 18 properties all over the state. So we have stuff that we use to work on our own properties. We have more than the average homeowner does. I am 100% agreeing with that. So maybe we look like we are a contractor yard, but we're not a contractor yard. We're just people that are doing what we like to do to take care of our properties.
And of course, the county, gets in not only on the zoning issue, but on the, accessory structures.
Yeah, we've got that all
And
permitted,
that's what,
Right, and then of course you gotta go to our building.
Right.
Yep.
inspector and all
which we're working with Vince right now. I had him out on the property not too long ago.
that. Okay. All right,
I mean, so if you wanted, we're this close to getting it finished, but I just don't understand this kind of like we haven't done anything. And I've been killing myself, and so has John. And as far as like scary, I don't know where they're listening to this as far as what Carla Georgie said about John, like all this stuff. Where did that come from? Where did you hear that? I know you're in communications, I know you're in communications.
You said the words to my
No,
face, Carla.
No, I never would have said that. I'm
Yes, you
personal,
did.
no, I'm private. I'm private. It's none of my neighbor's business what my relationship is with my boyfriend, but I've never said that.
Yes, you
And
did.
no, I would never. I don't even tell my best friends that.
Okay, but you can, honestly say, this is kind of the first time me and you have ever met. I never seen you before, correct?
She's been
No,
here
I've been
before.
here.
Yeah, she's been in Mills' office a few times.
Well, no, I'm saying for me, I don't recognize you, so. Okay, so you've been to any of these other meetings where this has come up?
Not when this has come up, no.
No, she watches the meetings when I have them recorded there. She watches them at home. So she doesn't come here personally, but she sees what's going on.
Jim, do you have anything for?
Well, with respect to the request for a 30-day extension, our municipal court has a policy, if any side requests an adjournment, they automatically get one adjournment. So they adjourned the trial that was supposed to happen on April 15th.
But we
To
got
July
another ticket,
15th.
we got another ticket, which has caused us to bump it back again, because we have to get everything the extra stuff that's been added. The
Well,
goalpost
that-
moved, we got another citation, so I asked that we could get in front of the court all at one time, so we're not wasting the
Right,
court's time
and
and wasting our time.
all three are gonna be heard in July now.
Correct, correct.
Some of the arguments that, John and Carla are raising here, I think, will be issues that the municipal court judge would take into consideration, after the end of all of the testimony. So I'm not sure if the town board can really do anything at this point. I think the letter was addressing additional time, and they got that through the court.
It was also addressing the situation and what has all elapsed, how it's elapsed, how failure by the chief not getting back to us, even though he was requested by a county official. I mean, those are all things that are incorporated into why we got more tickets. If you don't share the information you exactly specifically want, we can't act on it exactly specifically what you want. So if you don't provide the information, you expect that something to change. If you don't tell us, then all of a sudden we get a ticket, you know,
That
25
would be
days later.
another defense type argument that the judge would hear, and I'm assuming everyone's gonna have their own timeline of events that'll be brought out at the.
Hey,
the court.
I want it cleaned up. I don't wanna be a problem for Tim. I don't wanna be a problem for Barb. I don't wanna be a problem for the board here. I don't wanna be a problem for the judge. But the bottom line is, you have to have some communication skills, and that's what we're lacking here. The county is very good at communicating. They're very forthright, straight with you. You do what they ask, they leave you alone, they don't write you a ticket. Here, we haven't had that same experience. We request the information, and we don't get the information. We get tickets instead of information. We would like to have a good line of open communication, so if something needs to be corrected, we'll correct it. We're not opposed to correcting it, we just need good communication to do it. You know?
There's just too many chiefs on the property and not enough people. They're talking, I'm standing there going like this. Cause there's way too many chiefs on the property.
Now, you understand county issues are kind of.
No, I understand that, but then there has to be a step in of clarification.
I've never once said I'm not gonna comply with what the chief is requesting.
and I'm
I'm always compliant.
I'm not blaming anybody, but it's very confusing, and there was a lot of work there. And I'm doing the jig going, oh man, we're almost there, and then bam, you come out, you say something different, and then you get a ticket 10 days later going, what's going on? Where it was just like so close, just clarify this, and then it's almost over with.
I did speak with Vince Budia, who was asked to go out and look at the structure that they're building to try to hide from view some of the items that may be in violation of the ordinance. And Vince told me that what's out there does not really meet the definition of a structure where the town would have to issue a building permit for that. But from what I understand, Darren has already permitted what they're doing with building that.
It's basically just an enclosure to put things, I have a lot of things out there that belong to be used down at the bar. I have decking for the boardwalk, I have poles that need to go in to hold up the boardwalk. So I have things out there that normally you wouldn't have in your backyard, but they're back there. So I need to put them somewhere until I can get to them. And because of things like this 22-page letter, that I received from the management district, basically harassment. This is what the kind of stuff that's stopping me, why I have the stuff in the backyard. So now I have to put the stuff under this enclosure that I got permitted by Darren, when I should be putting it down at the lake where it belongs, not in the backyard. But it's kind of a cynical thing here. And while I was working out at the yard a couple days ago, I saw some of the members of the management district just driving by and talking again.
All right?
All right, thank you.
Yep, anybody else want to speak on this before the chief makes it? You even have the,
Tim Barron, 8568 String Bridge Road. What John failed to mention about the truck that he's using, he deliberately puts collector plates on vehicles. It's about a 30-foot flatbed hull in it. Whereas you can technically put collector plates on it. Once you put collector plates on it, you cannot haul more than 500 pounds. And that's the issue. So, no, we're not gonna let you break the law.
When did you become an auxiliary police officer?
And it's not the only time.
No, well, there.
And
that-
Tim, if you put a trailer behind it, you can put unlimited amount of weight on a trailer behind
But
it.
you didn't.
Well, regardless, I didn't know about the 5,000 pound at the
You didn't
time.
know?
No, at the time I
It's a
didn't.
one sheet statute, and one of the statutes says you cannot haul more than 500 pounds. It also says you can't use the collector plate in January, which John obviously knew because he waited until January 31st and then snuck the truck up there and loaded up,
Community policing.
Also, he put a deep tinted plastic cover over the collector plate, so from 20 feet away, you can't even see that it's a collector plate. So it's deliberately defined, deceiving law enforcement and defrauding his insurance company, because insurance for a motor carrier is far more expensive, I'm sure.
Are these pictures supporting the state patrol citation that was issued?
Not those,
Oh.
those were other incidents. This, while I'm at it, that's when John drove his ATV on our yard, that's trespassing.
Well, you have-
I didn't drive an
After the
ATV over
survey was
there.
already done.
When would he have
This
done
is
it?
down in the northeast corner, which if you look on your map there, the northeast corner of their property, String Bridge Road, is a primary environmental corridor. That is a pile of junk, 2 piles of junk, 3 piles of junk. And then out of spite, once we put our fence up, they go ahead and line up everything they can right alongside the fence.
That was done to show the appreciation for you calling state
Well,
patrol,
that-
Tim.
No, he's not talking about that.
Yeah, he is.
No, he isn't.
Here's the view from our deck. You wanna talk about harassment? And a junkyard, there's a 3-yard junkyard slant, storage yard, or contractor storage yard slant, salvage yard.
But Tim, is it not getting corrected? Tim, is it not
This
getting
has
corrected?
been going on for 15 years.
Is it not getting corrected?
didn't know that?
And it hasn't happened in 15 years.
These are all
Okay.
municipal court issues.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, why are we hearing this
out here?
Cut it off.
Before you make any
Cut
decisions.
it off.
I mean, come
Here's
on.
one. There are a whole bunch of chippers, these are 2 trailers that are just skeletons, they're no longer usable, that is junk.
Are they
Want a
not-
definition?
are
No,
they
they're not junk.
That
gone?
is junk.
Are they not gone?
Or it is, no, they're not.
Yes, they are. Yes.
What the hell are you talking?
Okay,
They're not
how do you tell on over a 6-foot fence which is on my property, if you wanna know the truth? It's getting surveyed and your fence is on our property.
Oh yeah, Tim, your
How do
fence
you
is on the
see
property
over a
too.
6-foot fence,
3-acre
Tim, what's going
junkyard,
on?
and they destroyed all
How-
the vegetation in about a 3-acre area besides all the crap.
But it's all gone. It's gone. And he's this
I'm sure you had
And you
your,
keep hashing this up.
I'm sure
it's
you're all
gone.
impressed that they have 18 properties around the state.
And,
If you're
and
running-
how would you know that? And who told you that?
If you're
No.
using this as a contractor storage yard, or using to store stuff to work on your other properties, which are LLCs, that makes this a contractor storage yard. Pretty basic, pretty simple. The reason
They're not.
Darren's so easy to get along with, it's because he backpedals all the time and caves into everything. He's not a building inspector, he can't allow them to put a, if you wanna call it a roof over those shipping containers. Darren's not a building inspector. Then
Questioning
Booty did,
Darren's
and he
authority.
turned it down, he said, no way, it's not even a building, so it can't have a roof.
So what do you want? It's getting cleaned up, what do you want?
Everything's
Because-
gone, back to the way it was, or
No.
go somewhere else, take your crap somewhere else.
No, we have a right.
Chief, did you want to say anything on that, or we're gonna move on?
I would like to move on.
Okay.
Not all of those are LLCs.
All right. New hires,
We have other
part-time water
LLCs
control,
that we take care of.
Derek.
They're not all-
Yes, sir, I would like to have the board's permission to provide conditional offers to Derek Kruger and Mark Rulinski for the part-time position of police officer, water control. They applied for the job, they passed the physical fitness test for the water patrol, they passed the oral interview, and they passed the background
Or we're
investigation.
trying